भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
जय 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 गणनायका, जय जय विघ्न विनाशका।
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 जय शुभ मंगलदायका, विद्या बुद्धि प्रदायका।
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 गजवदना गौरी नंदन,
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 गजवदना गौरी नंदन।
गंगाधर शिव शंभो नंदन,
गंगाधर शिव शंभो नंदन,
गंगाधर शिव शंभो नंदन,
गंगाधर शिव शंभो नंदन।
जय 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 गणनायका, जय जय विघ्न विनाशका।
जय 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 गणनायका, जय जय विघ्न विनाशका।
जय शुभ मंगलदायका, विद्या बुद्धि प्रदायका।
जय शुभ मंगलदायका, विद्या बुद्धि प्रदायका।
गजवदना गौरी नंदन,
गजवदना गौरी नंदन,
गजवदना गौरी नंदन,
गजवदना गौरी नंदन।
गंगाधर शिव शंभो नंदन,
गंगाधर शिव शंभो नंदन,
गंगाधर शिव शंभो नंदन,
गंगाधर शिव शंभो नंदन।
जय 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 गणनायका, जय जय विघ्न विनाशका।
जय गुरु साई राम,
जय गुरु साई राम,
जय गुरु साई
जय गुरु साई राम।
ब्रह्मा विष्णु शिव 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 साई राम।
पर ब्रह्म रूप 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 साई राम।
माता पिता गुरु 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 साई राम।
जगत गुरु सत्य साई राम।
जगत गुरु सत्य साई राम।
जगत गुरु सत्य साई राम।
जय गुरु साई राम।
जगत गुरु सत्य साई राम।
जय गुरु साई राम।
ब्रह्मा विष्णु शिव साई राम।
ब्रह्मा विष्णु शिव साई राम।
शिव साई राम।
साई राम।
ब्रह्मा विष्णु शिव साई राम।
ब्रह्मा विष्णु शिव साई राम।
पर ब्रह्म रूप साई राम।
पर ब्रह्म रूप साई राम।
माता पिता गुरु साई राम।
माता पिता गुरु साई राम।
माता पिता गुरु साई राम।
जय गुरु सत्य साई राम। जय गुरु साई राम। जय गुरु सत्य साई राम।
My most loving and prayerful salutations at the divine lotus feet of our beloved Bhagwan. Dear elders, brothers, sisters, and children, Om Shri Sai Ram. On behalf of our Victoria Region West, a very warm welcome to our most distinguished speaker for tonight, Abhimanyu Kaul, and to each and every one of you here. Some of you have come from far, some we're seeing after a long time, and again, special welcome to Sachin. Our Epping Center members have been very happy to see Sachin here today. So, a very warm welcome to each and everyone. We are indeed very fortunate and thank Bhagwan that he has sent Abhimanyu Kaul here. Abhi is his fondly called by most. He is a student of Bhagwan, a Sai student at Parthi from 1983 to 1990. He wants to be identified as Sai student, and having had the good fortune of being and seeing him at the national conference, and again last night at Victoria East, he is truly a Sai student. He has had the opportunity of during his school and college days, many experiences at the divine lotus feet of Bhagwan. And he has this in him to bring those moments alive through his storytelling skills, which you will see tonight. He has done a lot of work in value education. He's started a company in Canada. I think it is called Values in Action in Toronto. He's been an advisor to the Ministry of Education in Trinidad and Tobago, again on in values and education. So, and currently he is the principal consultant of a value-based change management Pty Limited. So he has a lot to share. And now please welcome Abhi.
Offering my most humble and loving salutations at the lotus feet of our Master, Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba. Elders and brothers and sisters, a very warm Sairam to all of you. It's a wonderful cold evening, and it's nice to be cozy inside. Thank you very much for the opportunity to come and meet all of you and share some thoughts. I know you are here to hear his stories, and I feel blessed to be able to communicate those stories. So I'm best known as a storyteller, and I feel blessed about it. So we'll continue our stories, but as I always say, if you have anything in mind that you would like to hear about, I would be more than happy to share if I know that, because there are many aspects of Bhagwan which normally devotees are not privileged to see, and you might have heard it half-hearted somewhere. So if you feel like asking something or sharing something, feel free. It's a nice small gathering, so we'll use it like that. And I see my brother also here, so good. So do you have anything in mind that you would like to particularly hear? Everybody's happy? So then you must smile. Okay, that's my code of conduct. If you don't smile, then I will ask you questions. Is that fair? Okay, till you smile, I'm fine. I know that you're awake. If you don't smile, then I know you're sleeping, then I'll ask you a question. Is that fine? Good. See, when we are with, Bhagwan, every second of our life becomes a learning curve. The interesting part of that is that you don't know that. You pass your days just as normal life, but later on when you sit back and think about it, then you realize that every second, whether he was talking to you or not, whether he was talking, avoiding, playing, distant, in any format that you were with him, it was a learning. It was a huge learning. And he never rested. And the reason was the passion in which Bhagwan lived his life. That is something to be, I would say, evaluated, copied, followed. For a second, let me put that thought aside that he was God, or God incarnated in the form of this beloved whom we call as Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba. Let us look at him as a person and see how interesting thought comes. A small child born in a village. Do you know the name of the village? Where was Swami born? Huh? Why not? Puttaparthi. Right? Then why are you shy? Say it with confidence. So he was born in a place, a tiny little dot called Puttaparthi. When he was born, that place was not even in the map of India. Do you know that? So when they had the map of India, at that time, Puttaparthi did not even exist. Can you imagine the remoteness of the place? There was nothing. In 80s, or late 70s and 80s, when you had to go to Puttaparthi, how many of you been to Parthi in those times? Anybody here who has gone to Parthi in late 70, early 80? You've been there? Only one? Great. So she will share my story. How did you reach Puttaparthi? All the possible mode of transportation we had to use. We had to take flight, then take a bus, sometimes a bullock cart. And many people have to swim across the Chitravati to reach Puttaparthi. Can you imagine the remoteness? In that tiny village, this child was born. Can you imagine? With no facility at all. No internet. Not even a phone. Forget internet. Not even a school. Can you imagine that small little hair? And he grew up in that small little locality for 10, 15 years. Look at the craziness of this child. At 14, he announces, "My devotees are waiting for me." Obviously, his parents would think he's gone mad. Won't they? Imagine if your child starts telling you, "My devotees are waiting," you'll say, "Take him to psychiatrist right away." So his parents also took him. Obvious. In that little village, he said, "I have to transform. The humanity is waiting for me. And my purpose is to make you realize your oneness with God." Can you imagine the focus of a gentleman, small little baby, 14-year-old child, announcing to the world that I am not here to have relationships. My purpose is different. Obviously, people thought he's mad. They took him to the magician who shaved his head off. How many of you have seen Bhagwan's back portion? You've not noted? Watch the movie. Watch the videos nowadays. You can't see anything else. When he was a child and when they shaved his head and they cut it to put some spices inside because they thought that some ghost has entered him. They put spice in his eyes. His eyes had popped out. They cut his head and used to put some salt and pepper inside, thinking that pain would release him from the devil who has gone inside him, who is announcing to the world that my devotees are waiting. And when he was in extreme pain, his eyes had popped out. His elder sister was with him. She was shocked to see that, and she could not tolerate further. And she grabbed him and he said, "I don't care whether he has ghost or not, I am taking him now." The elder sister became the savior. But Swami Satya, what was called, he never objected. He kept smiling. And the more he smiled at that man got more angry. And he put more stuff in his head. Can you imagine? And his eyes had popped out, and the sister took him out. She said, "I don't care whether he is possessed or not possessed, I'm taking him." And outside she said, "Satya, I can't bear you see this. Your eyes are out, your head is fully cut." He smiled, he said, "Don't worry, everything will be fine." But she was in pain. He said, "Okay, for your sake, do one thing, go out." And he pointed towards one plant outside and he said, "Bring some leaves from that plant." And she brought those leaves, they rubbed it, and the juice she put, and within half an hour, his eyes were normal. That was Satya at the age of 14. Can you imagine what a focus? And he believed in that. He announced and he believed in it. And he started his journey. You know the story, right? More or less, we all know this basic story. How he threw his books and he started off. What fascinates me is the vision of the child. You know where the mandir today stands, what it was in 1920 or 40, whatever? It was a burial ground. They used to burn dead bodies there. That is where he said, my head office. So people obviously will think, no? A crazy fellow. What is he talking about? Which world is he in? And he did that. But did he do it this way? No. He went through the same process as any one of us would have to go through it. Step by step, slowly, he built that empire. From nothing, he created something. Isn't it? It took him 60, 70 years to build that whole compound. Unfortunately, today, when we talk about Sai Baba, we only talk about water project, his college, university, which are nothing, which are actually a tip of the iceberg. If we limit him to these activities, we are doing great disservice to ourselves and to our master. He never came to build hospitals and schools. That was just an add-on. I have to feed you, so if you don't like my food, I'll throw in a sweet. But I have to feed you. You like a Coke, but I don't want to give you a Coke, but I'll show you Coke and put milk in it. So it is, that candy was this hospitals and schools and colleges. We were just fortunate that he chose education as the medium to accomplish his mission. He could have chosen anything, but he chose education. And because of that, all of us got involved. And he said at the end that education is the means in this era to do transformation. Because good and evil both have gone into the same body. I can't chop off your head and let the body walk. So the trouble is, he had to fix, and that requires transformation, and he chose education for it. See how beautifully it is organized in his, but look at the vision, that he knew what he has to do. And then instruments like his mother, his brother, they became kind of a instrumentation on the way to guide, to nurture this whole process. He would use excuse of his mother and say, my mom said, don't leave Puttaparthi. So I'm staying, I'm obeying her command. She had a desire that let everybody have free education and health. Hence I started school. So he gave credit to his mother. Isn't that a beautiful example? That whatever we do in our lives, always thank others, for they are the cause for our good deed also. So he never took credit of even that. He built massive hospitals, universities, but he gave credit to others. Hey, my mom said it. I'm doing it for her sake. He saw some orphan children running and he said, because of them, I started schools. See how sweet it is. But here, we do a small activity, we want a big board. We want a label outside and keep showing everybody, look. That's me. Don't forget that. Huh? So first bhajan should be on my name. So imagine, that's how our master taught us how one should live in our lives. He studied like an ordinary child, but he had to show the glimpses, so he played little pranks. the prank of the school, right? Prank of dance. I'm sure you know the story of how Baba turned himself into a girl and danced. You know the story? How many of you don't know the story? Oh my God, you all need to go to Balvikas. We will start a new Balvikas SSC classes. We have to start this. I think before you do anything, you must learn about Baba's life. There is nothing you can miss if only you know his life. It's an amazing life. There is nothing outside his life that you need to learn. You talk about anything, scriptures, code of conduct, anything, study him and you will know everything. That is the beauty of an avatar's life. Read, study him, everything. In the childhood, I'll summarize the story for you. He used to do a lot of plays. He would write plays himself. And through the plays, he would convey good messages to the community. So you know, in today's world, you have street shows. Youths do that very often. They have groups and they go on the street and start doing a play. And through the play, they create messages. Usually our messages are don't drink and drive. You know, that kind of messages. But he had a different messaging style. He would do that. So he created many plays he wrote. His famous plays were, which we have done many times in the college days, Cheppenu Chestara. It's in Telugu, which means, do you do as you speak? So when you say something, do you follow that yourself? That was the theme. In that he highlighted, you know, how we get a phone call and he say, whose phone? Tell him I'm not here. How many of you do that still? When the phone call comes, you say, tell him I'm not here. And your child is watching you. You say, oh, that means it's okay to lie. And we say it's an innocent lie. Right? We all say that. In 1950s, Swami had announced this, that don't do that. That is a bad lead. We lead our children to lie. Tell him I'm not there. And a teacher comes and says, hey, the inspector is coming, I'm going to give you these 5 questions. Memorize it. Is that the way to conduct? How many of us do that? When some inspector comes to see you, in your workplace also, you'll all clean it up nicely. Your table will look neat and clean because somebody is going to come and watch. Or do we really live like that the whole time? He taught us that. I've had the privilege of walking into his room a few times. I'll tell you, never, at least in my whole tenure with Bhagwan, I have seen his room, be it the interview side, kitchen, his bedroom or anywhere, anything but perfect. Even the letters which he would get, they would be stacked in a very orderly manner. You know, sometimes you expect that some letter should be like tweaking out, that you can push it back. You won't find that. It will be all stacked. So you wonder, like, Swami, why you have to be so perfect all the time, you know? I'll tell you a funny thing. Once he had called few of us to organize certain stuff inside. His house, which looks very big, that mandir, what we call, it is actually a hall in middle. On both sides there are rooms. So on one side was his residential quarters, if you may call. Downstairs was the interview room. Then there was a small storage and then it was a kitchen. And similarly upstairs were rooms. One was a common room where he would meet the people coming and seeing him in the morning. And then his bedroom and some 2 extra rooms for the boys to stay who would be attending on Bhagwan. So it is a very simple, and rooms were 10 by 10. 10 feet by 10 feet room. How many of your bathrooms are bigger than that? So your master and my master lived most of his life in a room which was just 10 feet by 10 feet and decorated very modestly. He had one bed. Nice, neat and clean bed. Not your memory foam. He had a very simple bed. And then no air condition, no cooler, one fan. That one. Okay? One thing luxurious I found was he had a mirror. He had a big mirror for himself. So when he would dress up, he would look at it and he'll say, am I looking fine? And then he'll walk out. Because he said, I have to be perfect, because if my devotees see me, if I am not rightly dressed, they will feel bad. So he dressed not for himself, he dressed even that for us. Because if he was not perfectly dressed, you would feel sad that why my Swami is not wearing proper. So all his external appearances, what we see of our master, were not because he wanted it, or because we expected it. For our joy, he conducted like that. If he could bestow wealth and prosperity on us, would you want him to walk out in a torn dhoti? So he said, okay. So that is why anything external, if you see, Swami had very glamorous outlook. Simple yet glamorous. But anything internal, which he was private, was so basic that scared you sometimes. Oh God, do I have to sleep like that? But there we don't feel it. We don't mind sleeping on the floor. When my master is so simple, what is the business here? And we enjoyed it. So his bedroom, one bed and a mirror and a fan. So there was a time when somebody forced him to have a cooler. You are in Australia, very blessed land. You don't need that. But in India, there is a machine called cooler, which has a huge fan. When it runs, more than air, it makes noise. So if you have to talk, you have to scream, how are you? Because the cooler is running. It doesn't have the silence. So that's called a cooler. It gives you cool breeze because you put water inside. Do you know that? Yes. So I'm sure if you visit India, you would have seen it. So somebody put a cooler for him. He removed it in 2 days because it made too much of noise. He said, if you make that noise, devotees will get disturbed and the whole mandir sounds very noisy. So he removed it. So he had only a fan. That's how our master spent most of his life. Can you believe that? How simple Swami was? He would get up every day in the morning at 5 o'clock and he would be out. He'll open his door by 5:30, 5:45, and his life would start. Can you imagine taking commands? At 6 o'clock, he would start his vision. When people come to him with reports, Swami, this happened in Mandir, he sneezed, he has a stomach problem, and he had to micromanage everything because nobody could imagine the vision which that personality was taking through. And then he would come out for darshan. What happens in darshan? How many of you sat in darshan and said, let me enjoy darshan of Swami? We all were not going there for having darshan. We were going to give darshan. Let me analyze. How many of you felt when you went, today he didn't look at me? How many of you were sad? Swami did not look at me. 2 days, I'm going tomorrow and he has not still looked at me. How many of you felt that way? As if we are going to give darshan to him. You went to give darshan or take? If we went to take darshan, then he came out every second, every day, morning, evening. Why couldn't we just sit back and enjoy that beautiful form? Our darshan was only complete when his eyes would meet my eye. Only then I'll say, today was very good darshan. Because today I gave him darshan. Today he took my darshan, that is why darshan was good. Can you imagine our folly? How small we had become. Otherwise he was out every day. Why couldn't we sit back and enjoy the glory of the Master? That supreme consciousness in this beautiful form, but we are still stuck in our definition of darshan. That our definition of darshan is, Baba should come, look at me. then he should talk to me. Then I must take namaskar. Only then I would feel happy. Imagine what transition. But he was that incarnation whom you would look and feel satisfied. How many darshans we must have messed up only in that thought? Oh Swami, I'm not able to see you. Arey, you are seeing him. How lucky we were that he would call you from different parts of the world and make you sit next to him. You can see his full body. How many of you have seen him completely? Now you will start doubting the way I'll ask you questions. Who's not smiling? He's smiling too much. Okay. You know, one day Bhagavan was joking and he said, Krishna was very beautiful. He said that. He's so extremely beautiful that nobody has seen Krishna completely. So I was like, what? I'm sure people must have seen him. He was a human being walking around, man, as a human body. So he said no, because he was so beautiful, that's Swami's description, that whenever Krishna came out and you looked at him, whichever part of the body your eyes went, it got stuck there. So if you looked at his hair, you continued looking at the hair, beauty of the hair. And you didn't have time to look at his eyes or lips or nose or nothing. When you looked at his eyes, you got stared at the eye and you did not move off. So the result was, nobody was able to see Krishna fully. He was so beautiful. So I was like, wow, that must be beautiful, right? And then he chuckled and said, I'm more beautiful than him. See the sweetness? He played it. He said, I'm more beautiful. When he said that, I was thinking, really, Swami? And I'm looking at him from top to top. Hey, I'm looking at you. I'm looking my eyes like that. Ting. I'm seeing the whole body. I said, Swami, I'm able to see the whole body. So something is wrong. Something must be off in my eyes that I'm seeing you from top to bottom. And then later on, he had another conversation. He said, you look at me, but you don't see me. And that made you think more. Something is different again. And I tell you, I'll give you a challenge. Close your eyes. At least it's very difficult for me. I wish you could do that. Visualize him. Close your eyes and visualize. Swami coming in front of you. He's standing in front of you. Visualize from the top. The crown of hair. Standing straight. Flowing in all directions. Shining with the sun ray behind. Look at his forehead, broad forehead. He has a cut mark on his forehead. Look at the beautiful nose with a hump between the eyebrows. His eyebrows are not full. He's got half eyebrows. Shining eyes, bright and beautiful. Beautiful lips. When he speaks, they are wide. When he's quiet, they are sharp. The mole on his left cheek. His ears are small, hidden behind his hair. Sometimes he has double chin. Broad shoulder, standing straight. Flowing down his neckline. Beautiful robe. Robe flowing more than him, almost a feet longer. Firm palms and hand. Nails neatly cut. No wrinkles. His feet, as he says, like a teenage girl's. Firm, small. Feet nails also cut. Visualize this beautiful form standing in front of you with a smile. Keep your eyes closed and answer this question. How many buttons do you see Swami's robe has? You can scream the answer without opening the eye. 3. 2. 5. You can start from 1 and continue till 10. Open your eyes. How many of you, whatever I said about Bhagwan, you had already noticed? How many of you noticed a cut on his forehead here? How many of you noticed hump between his eyebrows? He had 2 buttons all through his life. See, all these things you did not see, but you claim that you saw Bhagwan for all your life. Hence proven what Bhagwan said, I'm so beautiful, you can never see me completely. See? We think we have done it. That's the biggest problem with the human mind. It plays tricks on us. Little we know, we think we got it. And we stop the learning curve. Whereas all that you learned is nothing really. And the day you realize, you will start learning. Our learning does not stop when we have finished our graduation. Actually, it qualifies us to start learning. Some used to say BCom is be calm. So you are teaching others to be calm. See, every graduate talks as if they know everything about the world. So they are in the preaching mode. All your children, you would have learned them. All the children at that age will start telling you, Dad, I know it. So it's be calm. You're telling everybody else to be calm. When you do masters, you become, I am calm. I am calm. Then the focus must turn back to you and say, oh God, it's not others. I have to be calm. So am calm becomes I am calm. I am calm. So he used to pun with the words and say, that is your next stage. You come back to yourself. It is not a matter of others. It is you. And that is the education. Look at how he teaches in a beautiful manner. That we don't even look at him properly. And he would pun many other jokes. One day he said about, Michael Jackson was Swami's kind of interested in him. I don't want to call him a devotee or something. But he was, once upon a time, there was a trend in the world. All these great musicians and artists were following some Baba or other. So Michael Jackson was getting interested in Swami. He wanted to come and see him. So Swami said, you can come. But then he said, I want to perform there. Then Swami said, don't come. And then he was standing outside and people had come to request, Swami, please permit him. He wants to bring his whole troop with him. He was flying, he was coming in the whole plane. Swami said, no. He can come for darshan, but not performing. Because he does some poses which are not good for ashram. See how much you have to think that what is appropriate for an occasion. So there's nothing wrong in his songs, nothing. But the way he dances and he does some pose, not good for ashram. See where he hits. So imagine how much vigilant, how much thoughtful we have to be all the time. It is not black and white to say, hey, this is right or this is wrong. But is it appropriate? And how it has to be twisted, that's the problem. So he cancelled him for that. It was funny. It was like, he didn't tell that to the public. He told him no performance, you can come for darshan. But then he did not come. Otherwise, imagine Michael Jackson's performance in Puttaparthi. That would have been some show at all, actually. But it was funny to hear that, They were interested in that. So, see, that's how he'll tweak things in and out for us. how do we live? In the hostel, we had a very simple life. And he would, we had, as I was telling other place also, we had dorms. In the dormitories in the Western world, if you look at it, you have a luxuries. You know, you have a bed and you have own air condition and everything. There we had almost like 12 to 16 boys in one room. And everybody had a cubbies. So there are 3 layers in the cubby, and you can fold that as an almirah, and the lower portion comes down and becomes a table to write and read. And then you have an empty space with a window. Windowsill was to hang your clothes, and empty space was to put your mattress and sleep there. And we used to normally have those, Indian mat with a folding bed. That was our bedding. And Swami was so proud of it that, look, my boys have got no fan, they sleep on the floor, they live a pure ashram life. He would be so happy. He will announce to the world and bring guests with him. And he'll showcase that. Look, you all think that my boys are living in big house, this big building I made, but this is all like an ashram. See, they are simple life, simple living, high thinking. So he was very proud of that. It was not that he didn't have money to put a fan in the room, but he wanted us to live that life. And we enjoyed it. Honestly speaking, we had fun. But yeah, we were creative also. When it became too hot, you know how we would sleep? We would dip the water, towels in that, and put towels on the window, and that will become ventilator. So cool breeze, at least some hot wind will change. Then we used to carry bucket of water and throw it on the floor. It will vapor in like 5 minutes, it will get evaporated. But then we will sleep on the wet floor itself to cool effect. We used to have a lot of creativity. But in all that, it was fun to be with Bhagwan, because he would come to the rooms and check on you. One day it happened, there was one boy who was from, I think he was from Indonesia or somewhere. These Indonesian people are, they are not only wealthy, but they are spoilt. So he had come, his grandmother or somebody had come, and he had to go and buy a mattress for her. So he had ordered a big, thick, fat mattress from Bangalore for her grandmom. And the mattress, instead of going to the mandir, it came to the hostel. So this fellow had kept it in the room. And I did not know that in the room. And suddenly we saw a mattress there. I said, why is the mattress here? Because we are not sleeping on the mattresses. He said, no, it has to go. So at least for a couple of days, I'll sleep on it before I send it off to my grandmom. So somehow it was on that day. And incidentally, Swami came to hostel. When things have to happen, it happens in a very royal manner. So we were all excited that Swami has come, and he would come unannounced. There was no kind of announcement many times. He would just walk in. And he had brought an Himalayan sage with him. Imagine a saint from Himalayas in the orchard robe with Swami. And Swami is talking outside. Come, I'll show you my boys. You people live in Himalayas. My boys also live like Himalayas only. This building I made for them in concrete, but they are inside, they are just like you. Come, I'll show you. So this sage is behind Swami, walking, and Swami took him inside. Chudu, look, no fan. See, no fan. See, nothing. Why sleep here? And suddenly Swami saw that mattress standing there. And the trouble is, it's a big, long room, and fortunately the mattress was on this side. And Swami entered, and he was praising like that, and suddenly he went like that and saw, oh my God, mattress is there. And immediately he turned, come, I'll show you another room also. So he said, I'll show you other room also, see? And he took him out, and while going, he gave me a dirty look. What is that? I couldn't even explain. I said, gone, I'm dead. So immediately after that, that mattress disappeared from hostel. It went to mandir straight away. But that was, the warden caught us and I said, what is wrong with you guys? Where did you get this mattress from? I said, sir, it was from his grandmother, blah, blah, blah. But can you imagine how Swami saved the face? Imagine that. Can you visualize that? I feel so thrilled visualizing that. He entering very proudly. Look at my boys. You see this mat? They just pull it and sleep. And, oh, come, I'll show you the room also. It was fantastic, So that was our Lord, lovingly protecting you from everything. You could not complain about us. If anybody complained about students to Swami, take it for granted, you're gone. He will not look at you after that. But he will punish the boy, he will punish the whole class. But he won't tolerate anybody pointing finger at his students. It's like mothers. You can slap your child, but if your neighbor looks at it also, don't turn. Put a black tikka here, full. Correct? See, that is Swami's possessiveness. He was so particular about things that nobody should touch. He was very careful. He will protect you like, one day somebody said, Swami, you protect us like an eyelid protects the eye. He says, nah, I'm better. Because through eyelid, dust goes. But with my protection, nothing goes. See, who can speak like that? What a confidence and what a beautiful analogy. That eyelid protects eye, that also escapes. But in my protection, nothing can escape. Can you imagine that beauty? That's how we are protected by the Lord. And He would use this in every way we like. I would say our life is very simple. We really don't have to use our head. Unnecessary, there is nothing as it is. So why trouble it? Whatever little He has given is to follow Him. Just follow Him. I'll give you an example, if you don't mind. You all chant Gayatri, right? For almost 40 years, Swami has been teaching Gayatri. He did mass thread ceremonies, and he openly used to teach us. But till today we chant it wrong. It hurts me. Not because you have made a mistake, because everybody does that. And I wonder, there is no confusion for us. If you believe in the Master, He chants in a particular manner, you just follow Him, isn't it? Then why don't we follow Him? It's puzzling to me. I don't know why. People come up with different excuses. We have been used to it. Oh, hell, you have been used to wrong things of life. That is why Avatar had to come down. He had to fix our ways. How can you tell Avatar, hey, sorry, Swami, this life, next time we'll see. I'm used to sleeping till late. I can't wake up at 5 o'clock. Hard luck. Then why are we following Him? Can you imagine this simple thing like Gayatri? And it has a phonetics. It has a vibrations. And we make a mistake. And I'll tell you one thing, which is very interesting in Gayatri. Swami chants it. Don't ask me writing and how. I just follow him. And because we all are in the same family, I'm able to tell you very directly. Follow him. Om Bhur Bhuva Suvaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. That's the way. Om Bhur Bhuva Suvaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Now in this, there is up and down, which you have to understand. But there is one word, Dhiyo Yo Nah. If you break it down, the words, it is Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat, which means, O Lord, illuminate me. But now, when we sing, we say, Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. That means, O Lord, do not illuminate me. So whole life we have been praying, O Lord, do not illuminate me. Yeah. See, Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat, do not illuminate me. Let me be in ignorance. So sweet, eh? And the Lord is saying, what can I do now? I'm helpless. I want to put some light in your head, but you keep saying, do not illuminate me. Now it's naha prachodayat. When you combine the naha and pa sound, sandhi viched in Sanskrit, it becomes naf. The sound is naf. Swami says that way. He does not break it into naha prachodayat. He says, dhiyo yo naf prachodayat, naf prachodayat. You want to say it together? Please. Om. Som. See? Killed it right there. Okay, repeat after me. You can little bit smile. Otherwise, I'm going to ask you particularly. Very good. That's enough. Don't laugh. Just smile. Om. Bhur-bhuvah-swaha. It is not swaha. Suvaha. Repeat. Again. Bhur-bhuvah-swaha. Suvaha. 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 Bhur-bhuvah-swaha. Again. Again. Tatsavitur varenyam. Again. Bhargo devasya dhimahi. Dhiyo yo nah prachodayat. Again. Whole thing. Om. Beautiful. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Just say Om once. Long breath. You know how you should say Om? When you breathe in, keep your hand on your stomach. I'm doing some drills today. Keep your hand on your stomach. Okay? So when you breathe in, tell me what happens to your stomach. When you breathe in, it comes out? Are you sure? Okay. Breathe out? Brilliant. How many of you have the same issue? When you breathe in, your stomach comes out? It goes in. When you breathe in, it goes in. Very good. Second option. Any third options happening here? How many of you belong to his category of breathing? All the fat fellows will have that problem. Okay, all of those who have been breathing like her are wrong. So that is a way to breathe. Unfortunately, when a child is born, you notice they are breathing from stomach. As we grow older, our breathing starts becoming from chest. So when you breathe in, your chest expands, whereas your stomach should. And chest remains constant. So your breath should fill up the lungs and the stomach, and then comes up. So when you breathe out, you're actually pumping it out from your stomach. And that is how the long breath happens. That is a yogic breathing cycle. So Omkar, you don't have to say Omkar. Okay, sit straight. All of you please sit straight. Because Omkar can raise your awareness and consciousness. And that can hurt if you're not sitting straight. Okay? Take your long breath. Stomach should be out. And as you breathe out, just open your lips and let the sound come out. Okay? Breathe in, out. Om. Good. Now you see the sound? That is naturally Om. We don't have to say Om. No need. Don't make the lips. Let the lip be open and sound will naturally come. When you are in the halfway, let the sound go up. Now I'll give you an exercise. Use your both thumbs and close your ears. Close your ears. And now say, hmm. Do you hear the sound in your head? How is it vibrating inside? Now when you say Om and you're closing the Om with Kar, this sound should be there without your ears closed. Are you getting it? So the same sound which you experience by your closing your ears, you have to experience when you do your Om. So basically, got it? So that Humkar is a Panchakshari. Om. Omkaram Bindu Sanyuktam Nityam Dhyayanti Yogina. It has a sound at the end of Bindu, which is Humkar. So, U, A, Ma, Humkar. It's a creation, sustenance and destruction and the vibration of creation, which restarts the creation. So, Om has got everything in it. So, say, Om. That is the catch of it. When you close it like that, you would feel it. That's why 21 times in the morning when we used to say Omkaram, many people will get exhausted. You would feel drained out. That is a high energy of this Omkar. It will open all your pores. You will feel fresh. And a good sleep after that actually. It's like a workout. And you feel perfect sleep after Omkar. Swami would tease us for that also. That you boys go to the dining hall, take prayer, but you sleep with that. So with every Omkar we go Om, then we wake up. But anyways, so you saw Gayatri. I would request you, please consider it. The easy way to go reminder is put Swami's Gayatri, and repeat after him. That is the best way. No confusion, no, Abhi said so or he said so, no need. Just play Swami and repeat after him till we become firm in our own chanting. Because that is what it is. A simple life is very simple for us. I'll give you another story about Swami's prayers. We chant, see how Bhagwan is, he allows you to question. And I would say our office bearers can pick up this thread from Swami. In our organization, we must have an opportunity for discussions. And I think that was one of the purposes of study circle also. That people can share and question what is happening in life. But in our system, somehow we get lost in that and we are only, somebody has to keep preaching us. We can't have discussions. Whereas Swami used to allow that, and it was a wonderful thing to have discussions with Bhagwan. Obviously, you have to have a little bit of practice to discuss with him. So many times we'll just shut up and listen. But he had created an environment. And I mentioned this in our conference also. There is a method in which he will say, question yourself, and that is called pariprashna in Sanskrit, but in English you can translate it as qualify your question. See, in English we say, no question is stupid, you can ask anything, but actually it is stupid. That is why you keep irritating. Hey, don't irritate me, you have asked me 10 times, right? So if it is not stupid, you will not get irritated. But when the same question or similar thing is asked by your own child, who is a baby, you don't mind it. Even if the child asks you 20 times the same question, you repeat. But if an adult asks you the same question, you'll say, come on, what's wrong with you? So which means the question was not wrong. We did not qualify that became wrong. So as an age comes forward, we need to question with ourselves. So each time you have a question in mind, before you look for answer, qualify the question. And Bhagavan says the easy way to is ask that question yourself. Keep quiet, ask it yourself. And most of the time you will find an answer and you'll get a new question. And this chain of question and answer in your own self will continue till you are stuck with a question. And that, the moment you get the final question which you are really wanting to answer, the answer will come to you. Because in our lives, our chase should not be to find answers. That is a wrong approach. Our chase is to qualify question. And this process was given to us by Socrates. And Bhagavan quoted him and gave us this method. So Socrates promoted that your quest in life is to get questions right. What is the purpose of my life? See, there's a question, no answer. Who am I? That's a question, not an answer. But struggling to get that question in our head right, we have achieved the purpose of our life. So the quest of every one of us is to get the question right, not the answer. Because answer each one will get differently in our own self. But question is common, and that is the key. So before you spill out and announce your ignorance to others, Bhagavan says, pause and ask it to yourself. Many times we'll ask question to Swami, it was nothing but just glorifying your own ignorance. One day a joke happened. I don't know what the context was. Bhagavan was talking about life. And somebody must have, there was a discussion that is there a life on Mars? They are spending billions of dollars to go to Mars. India also sent a satellite. Everybody is doing that, right? So somebody must have asked, there's a huge community of scientists as devotee of Bhagavan. They must have asked him, Swami, is there life on Mars? Because they're looking for water as a sign of life, right? See, I sometimes wonder why people can't believe in the old scientists and their discoveries. Why they have to dig the hole again and rebuild the wheels? And Swami smiled and asked a question back. Define life first. If you say, is there life on Mars? He said, first define what is life. And they had nothing to say after that. Because there is not even an atom in the creation which is not having life. But searching for life on Moon, Mars is strange. And then Bhagavan, as soon as that got over, he was sitting with some students and he said, even sun has life. So we'll say, Swami, what do you mean by that? He said, same, people live on sun also. People like you and me live on sun. He says, what? So some genius, we have geniuses in ourselves. Swami, won't they get burnt? Swami used a very beautiful Telugu word and told him, just because you can't live there, it doesn't mean life is not there. And he asked a question back. He said, do you live underwater? I said, no, Swami. Is there life underwater? Yes, Swami. Correct? For underwater people, that is their normal life. Just because you can't live underwater does not mean life is not there on sun. For them, that is normal temperature. Finished. So this news got spread. Obviously, when we have discussion, we come out and everybody said, Swami said, life in Mars. There are people living. So one elder heard it. He must have been a scientific background. See, people, we intellectuals, our mind is very smart, right? We are humans. We can't tolerate anything hitting our intelligence. So he goes to Swami. Swami, I hear you said there's life on Mars. Is that true, Swami? Now look at that question also. He's now qualifying that. Did you really say? Swami said, what is to you if there is life or not? Will you become a better person if there is life on Mars? He's looking at Swami and said, no, Swami, I meant no. If you will become better, I'll create life. Will you become better person? So he just shut up and went out. See, look at how he puns. You cannot play with God. You cannot play with your intelligence there. If you have to ask a question, you have to do with simplicity and innocence. You cannot be asking with arrogance to know, is it so? Is it, so what? Will you become better? Look at the approach of Bhagavan. He will never answer to satisfy your ego personality. He can answer even a child 100 times, but he will never answer an intellectual just because he's asked an intelligent question. There was one boy who asked him point blank, Swami, I want to see you create. He said, I created you. He said, not like that, Swami. How do you create? And Bhagavan very sweetly said, I think it comes. Look at the power. He said, I think and it manifests. He said, Swami, show me. He said, okay, look. He said, if I think, what do you see on my hand? He said, nothing. He said, okay, if I think I want a beautiful idol of Sai Baba, it will come. And it came. It just appeared. Swami did not do all this and all that. Nothing he did there. He just kept his hand like that and a murti appeared. And Swami said, saw that? Everybody saw it. I think they took picture also. And then Swami said, okay, now if I want that this idol to change with different studded precious stones, he did and it changed. The whole idol got changed right in front of the eyes. Beautiful, no? Just because a boy inquired. And one boy had I don't know whether it was a youth or whatever. You know, there's doubt. So many people say that, I don't like it when people say that, you have something in your hand. Somebody said, what to do? And he, instead of talking and responding, while talking, he moved his sleeves up. I am sure most of you would not have seen Swami's sleeves up. He's always covered. But in that session, he rolled his sleeves up completely. And no shaking also. Normally he will create by shaking his hand. Nothing. He rolled his sleeves up and like that he will give it off. So people are wondering what is happening here? And there are things when, the vibhuti will come from this portion and the rest of the hand is dry. He would show it because you have a genuine desire to know Lord. You have that wish. You are not testing him, but you are inquiring. He's ready for that. If you have an inquiry right attitude, Lord will answer you 100 times. But if you act smart, he'll slap you beautifully. Both ways, he's ready for that. There are so many occasions when Swami have seen. One day I saw him putting his head down and saying, see, nothing is there in my head. You can check if you want. It felt so bad, that Swami, you have to go down to that level to convince somebody, because people would talk about it and he would laugh at it. Then ultimately he told us one day, he said, boys, always believe in your own experience. The world will tell million things and I will also do certain things to make them say that, but always go back to your own conviction and experiences, because that is the reality. What you have seen, Swami, is your experience. Why do you change your experience based on others' versions? That means we don't believe in our experience. So he would always remind us, go back to your experience. You may hear million things, but what does your heart say? What have you seen and experienced? Believe that. Now these are little serious things. I've got a few minutes. Let me tell you a nice little funny things about Swami. There was a time when we used to do dance with Swami. When I joined, fortunately, he had a very beautiful way of, teaching us to get involved in an activity. And then after a few years, when we have matured, we leave way for the next generation. See, it's a very beautiful transition which he teaches you. In the corporate world, we have succession plan. I wish we could learn from Swami the management skills. And I really pray, organization, we can learn it from him only. He is shown how he will appoint somebody and then he'll replace them with new boys and the old boys are gone. And they are given different allocations. So And we used to always fight that, Swami, I can still do it. But now we understand that if we were sticking on to that same position, that means new generation would never have got a chance. If my seniors did not leave Bhagwan's proximity, then do you think we would have got a chance to sit with him? Not possible. Everybody becomes so possessive about Swami that you can't come closer. So he had to replace us. So every generation will move out and the new generation will come. And he will do the same pranks with everybody. So everybody had memories. And we all can relate to each other. Now I could be a student in 70s or I could be in 80s or 90s. We have this beautiful meeting of alumni. When we share our stories, everybody can relate to it. Because everybody has seen that Lord in that proximity. Isn't it beautiful? So one year, it so happened in 83, I would say, I came to hostel from holiday and I saw my seniors doing Bhangra dance in hostel. They were tall guys at college, they were jumping and Swami was enjoying. In the middle, Swami is in the middle and the boys are dancing around. So I thought, yeah, this is a good chance, man. Imagine dancing with Swami and for Swami. So, and immediately our dance, Swami said, Peddara, Dunna Puta, you're going palm trees like, now you all rest, new boys should join. And immediately, in split second, those boys, very gladly they moved out and we were selected. Then Swami used to come for practice sessions. And he had invited, he had called some teachers from Andhra. Can you believe the Bhangra dance, the typical folk dance, is speciality of a state called Punjab. You know the people with turbans you must have seen? But the teachers of that dance are popular in Andhra. Very strange. I don't know how this Andhraite dance Bhangra, but they are great dancers, probably. So he had brought them and they came to teach us. And Swami would come and watch the dance. Next year, we performed and he loved it. He in fact loved it so much that after the procession was over, he called us. He said, boys, do you mind doing it in the afternoon? His words were very unique. He could command us anytime, but he never commanded. He would always use the sentence as if he's asking our permission. You know, would you mind doing it? He said, sure, Swami, you know. But he'll say, no, think about it. So we'll say, no, Swami, we'll do it. But the trouble is, in the procession we have danced, we have not practiced a stage dance. It's a different dancing style. And he says, you have 3 hours, can you do it? I say, Swami, sure, if you say, we'll do it. Because there was a kind of a blind understanding that if he says, it has to happen, just jump in. And he was very happy and he told, do it. And that time, if you all know, India had a Sikh president, Gyani Jal Singh. Sardarji, he was a Sardar. So Swami came to us and he said, he's coming for the program. So he wanted us to do Bhangra. He said, show off. Then he told, hey, when he comes, your test is, he should get up and start dancing. We were in the play, but unfortunately, something happened in political arena and his trip got cancelled. But we enjoyed with Bhagwan. So we had a nice dancing session in which we had worn dresses. Swami got it stitched and all that. Beautiful it was. Next year, when we were again getting ready for performances, Bhagwan called us, few of us, and he said, boys, that dance teacher whom I had brought last time, he it seems cheated Swami. He must have, like, you know, they are stupid people. He must have cheated in money. Swami, he always pays more than what you can even think of. He will give you gifts and all that also. But somehow that stupid greed of a person can mess up. And Swami was hurt, apparently, by the response of those instructors. So he asked us, can you manage yourself or you want me to call him back? I said, Swami, it's your wish, whatever you decide. He says, no, if you want, then I will call him. But I'm not happy with them, but I'll call him still for your sake. So we said, no, Swami, we don't want. Like, if you say, we'll manage. And Swami said, are you sure? I said, sure, Swami. We do it for you, and you are there, we'll manage. Swami suddenly became very smiley and happy. He said, then I'll teach you. I'll take care of everything. Then Swami takes over. And it became, I would say, one of the beautiful experiences and blessings for us. Swami would come every day to watch us practice. And trust me, in those days, we had no YouTubes, no internet to copy dances, okay? It was all like from our head, whatever is happening. And we had no drummers also in those days. Music boys were the only guys who would play instrument. And they were like lordships. They were like VVIPs of our hostel life, music boys. And they had too many things to do. They had music program to do, bhajans to do. So they were like busy. Okay, we'll come on the final day kind of scenario, And here we needed somebody to play the instrument so we can dance. So what was the instrument we had? Bucket. I used to have a bucket, plastic bucket, and keep hitting that as a beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And like that we used to practice. And then somehow we got a drummer to play for Swami's time. And he would come every day and see a step. And every day for 15 days, I have shown Bhagwan new dance. Total new choreography. Because if you repeat, he will not come. So every day he comes, he has to see a new step. And then he'll say, manchidira. He'll avoid it. So he knows, you have to tell him exactly, Swami this. So we will add or delete as per his taste. And finally he approved. I didn't know that in Vrindavan campus, boys were also practicing dance. Same dance. So suddenly we heard they are also coming. And all the Ravi Kumars and all that who singers, they were from Vrindavan that time. So those boys had amazing music. Because they were singers and they're players from their Kabir. I don't know that you know them, but older boys. Like Ravi Kumar, singer. His batchmates. So they were great players and singers. And dance, they had come. So now there is a competition between Parthi and Vrindavan. Who will get permission to do dance? So one day, Swami announced, okay, tomorrow morning I'm going to come and see dances. So both our team got attended in the quadrangle, Institute quadrangle. Swami came and sat, and 2 teams are dancing. Parthi boys and Vrindavan boys, separately. We didn't have much instrument. We had one fellow who was hammering dhols, but they had a full blast music group. So their session sounded really impressive. I was also feeling, oh my God, now we have lost it. We don't know who will get permission to perform. Then ultimately, when we both finished, we all came and at his feet. We used to surround Swami completely. And Swami sitting, he said, Manchidi, both very good. Parthi, good dance. Vrindavan, good music. If you merge kar sakta, we can merge both. You'll have a good, and that's exactly what happened. So we had a bigger troupe to dance with Parthi boys leading the dancing style and Vrindavan leading with the music. See, he never disappoints anybody, but in a human mentality, we could not visualize that collaboration is possible. See, as a student, we thought we have a competition. They are our rivals, man. Vrindavan coming to Parthi. But ultimately it turned out. And then next year, it so happened, Swami called and he said, now they are not coming, the teachers, you have to do it. I will stitch your dresses. And then he got us, the full gear. And it's so funny. He made it little cheeky also in that, he had the shiny stuff, that shiny things. He got it put on that kurta, on the coat. Then he got a dhoti for us. And then he had another scarf which was used as a turban. All that he got stitched. And then he would call us and make you wear. So we had to wear and show him. So it happened in the room that I was not dancing at that time because I had qualified. So I was chosen to be the teacher. I was to teach dancing, but I was there in the room helping the boys to get ready. Now imagine in the interview room, there are few boys whom Swami said, dress them up so I can see if they are looking good. So I had this 8th, 9th standard boy. They used to all roll the pants, obviously, because they are scared that dhoti should not go off. So they would have pant inside, but they'll roll it up till here. And then I was trying to tie dhoti. Like, unfortunate it is, another lesson of my life. But I was also new to Swami watching like that. You know, we are not so free every time. Over the years, we get slowly free with Swami, but it is difficult. Swami's persona is very powerful. He came and sat on his chair. Now imagine a 10 by 10 room. In the corner is his big chair. He sat and said, put on. Now imagine dressing in front of Swami. That itself is embarrassing and so conscious. And this 8th class boy, he came to me, brother, tie dhoti. So now he has got a dhoti in his hand. I said, okay. Now I'm down trying to figure out. Now see, tying yourself is easier. Trying to somebody else, you tend to forget. And Swami was very particular that even in that dance, your legs should not be visible. So when I've done my first dance with the dress costume, he said, your dance is fine, but your legs were visible. I looked at him, I said, Swami, this is Bhangra. This dance requires jumping. How can not my legs be visible? It will be visible. You know, I'm thinking I could not say, but he says, take care. I said, how do I take care now? How do I dance without showing my legs? And then after 2 days, he came and he showed me how to tie dhoti. And that was an experience. I'm sure all of you know, he has never worn dhoti like that. The Punjabi style dhoti he has never worn in his life, okay? But the way he tied the dhoti, it had a perfect fall in the front. And even though I jumped, you know how much of aggressive dance it is, legs were not visible. And that's the only thing he pointed to me is, dancing is okay, legs are visible. I said, oh God. So when I was tying to this kid, I was conscious of it, but I forgot how to tie a knot. There's a first a knot here, and then the first fold comes. And I was struggling. And something happened to me. I was so conscious because Swami is sitting and watching. Now imagine he's staring at you, and you have to do this. I got so blanked out. I told this kid, go to Swami. I just pushed the kid, go to Swami. And that kid also so innocently, he turned and went to Swami. Swami tie. Just imagine the innocence and the whole drama. I also did it very stupidly. I can confess that. I had no intention. Because I was so scared of him looking at me like that. I said, I forgot. Completely blanked out. And I'm holding this fellow's dhoti and I can't understand what to do with this. I said, go to Swami. And this fellow also turned, Swami, tie. And Swami, when he came, Swami was like, hey, kya karta hai? What are you coming to me? And he looked at me like that. He said, what is wrong with you? I said, sorry, I forgot. I told him in Telugu, Marchipoyanu Swami. I forgot, Swami. He looked at me like that, But I was genuinely forgetting, what can I do? And he caught his hand and he tied. He made the first knot, almost he made the first knot, and as if the whole memory came back to me. And the moment I remembered, he just turned the boy and said, go back. And he sent him back to me and said, finish it. And then he got up, I'm coming in 5 minutes, finish everybody. So he went out and we finished everybody and ready. And he came inside, he looked at it, says, very good. And then onwards, the whole trend started. He used to get colorful dresses. He would say, I'll give you nice colors. It looked nice from far. He likes the colors. On small children, he loved those colors. And then he would show you steps. I used to do one step called snake charmer step. Nagin step. Pata hai? That was my favorite step, Nagin dance. So they will be playing that bean and I would dance. And he used to watch that. But when I stopped dancing, one of my friends, he wanted to do that step. So I said, okay, you dance. So when Swami came, he was watching it. And as soon as the music started, somehow, that's the beauty of our Lord, that He correlates some things with somebody. Like there are bhajans which were associated with a student. Nobody else would sing that bhajan then. Once it gets labeled with that child, it is as if Bhagwan himself has just stopped that bhajan for him. So anytime, whenever he feels like he look at the boy and do like that, he will start the song. And everybody knew, every singer of Mandir had that. It is such an exclusive feeling of God. And remind me, I'll tell you about Meera. Before I forget, Meera or Radha? Okay, remind me that. So what he did was, he was, that snake dance was associated with me. And that is the only thing I feel so blessed sometimes that, oh my God, at least something remained, And as soon as the music started, Swami, like I was not dancing at that group, so he knows I'm not dancing. But when the music came back, he suddenly looked at me. He was not talking to me, even though I was training the boys. But when the music started, he looked at me like that. And it happened in split second. And with his eyes, he asked me, are you dancing? It was a communication so quick. I said, no, Swami, I'm not. And I pointed towards, immediately a little gesture towards the boy who was supposed to jump in. And immediately he said, cancel. So I pulled the Rajgopal was there. I just pulled him back and the music changed. He was about to jump in and the step, I pulled him, music got changed and a new step started. And then onwards, that step was not done by anybody. I don't know that today they do it or not, I'm not sure, but at least in those few years when I was there, that step disappeared from the whole scene. So feel touched about it, that look how Bhagwan does that. Let me tell you the story about Radha. It seems, how many of you know Radha's last moments? Yeah, how? Okay, I'll tell you the story about it. Before bhajan in Mandir, Swami would usually finish the interviews and come and sit inside. At that time, we would all be closer to his chair. And his chair is on the platform in the Mandir. So he would sit on his platform, not on the chair, and keep his hand on the footrest. Very comfortably, casually, he will be sitting there. And that time, he will chat with all of us. So practically, he's not on his high pedestal chair. He's right on the floor, sitting on that high-rise platform. So in those moments, there will be lovely conversation with Swami. And topics can range from anything to anything. At that time, there was an instrument player who used to play flute there. Durjati was a student who used to play veena for Swami. So all that instrumentation also will go on at that time. So it happened, while they were playing, suddenly Swami made a comment and he said, I played flute a lot. I played a lot of flute. But now I don't play. And in this life, we all know, Baba has not played flute. Okay? So we were wondering, Swami, when did you play flute? Because we have seen him with sitar, we have seen him with veena, talam, all that. But flute, we have never seen him play. And he said, I played a lot. And we are looking at him with a question mark on our faces. And he said, as a Krishna when I came, that time I played. As a Krishna when I came, I played a lot. Enough. Then he paused for a second and he said, boys, do you know when was the last time Krishna played flute? And that was a revelation. And he told his story that when Radha was on her deathbed, and you know the story, Krishna leaves Gokul when he was a child. And then he never comes back. It seems Radha, all her life, she lived in her thoughts of Krishna. And sometimes she would go to the city and look at Krishna from far and come back. That was all her exposure to Krishna in a physical sense. So when Radha was taking her last breath, she was at the banks of Yamuna, the river Yamuna. And she was chanting Krishna's name and breathing her last. It seems at that moment, Krishna manifests in front of her. And looking at Krishna, Radha regains her strength and folds her hand and starts crying. And after a few courtesy conversation between God and the devotee. Krishna says to Radha, ask me whatever you want. So Radha said, I have no desire left, and nothing. The only thing I could have asked for you is your vision, that you have come. I have nothing, no desire left, I am happy. But Krishna said, Radha, I am too happy with you. I want to give you something. Ask. Even though you don't want it, but ask. Look at the status of a devotee. What state the devotee has reached that God is asking, please ask for my sake. I know you don't want anything, ask. Then Radha tells him that, Lord, I have really nothing to ask you. But if you want to do something for me, then just play the flute again once more. I want to hear that melodious flute of yours. Krishna said, yes. Then Swami's words are, and I went, broke that one branch. He said, I went and broke a branch of a tree and blew it. That branch became a flute. And that is the last time I played flute. So that flute was dedicated to Radha, and after that, Krishna never played flute. To such an extent that even in this avatar, he chose not to touch it, because that flute was dedicated to the devotee. Can you imagine the status of a devotee? What a beautiful devotee she must have been. Amazing, no? Swami would tell us the stories behind the scene. So many times he told us many things about Ramayana, which you would not find anywhere. So some genius asked him, Swami, where did you hear this? See, this is a very funny human mind. Asking Swami, where it is? I have read various versions of Ramayana, but these stories are not there. Swami looked at him. He said, who wrote Ramayana? He said, Swami, Valmiki. He said, he's the writer. I'm the author. Whatever I told him, he wrote. What I did not tell him, how can he write? This is my life, so I know better than him. Say, he's a biographer. So whatever I told him, he wrote. So I know what is happening inside, and those were amazing stories. Your perspective of looking at these gods and avatars would change if only you could hear and read Bhagavan. It's amazing. But he would tell you in this playful manner about what Radha did, what I did, and he would go many times I. He won't say Krishna did it. Suddenly that, the oneness he exhibits. And his one sentence will be like, I did it like that. And that is amazingly powerful. He would say Mantra Shakti, Yantra Shakti and all that. I would like you all to even explore man management of Swami. All your life problem, be it professional or personal, would disappear. Look at Bhagavan as a teacher of management. In 86 it started. And that is the time when he introduced the concept of ethics in management. This man management concept Baba has given to us. We are all begging the university to make it a course proper before some other university takes this name. Because this man management concept is most unique. And from there he taught us billion things. Every Sunday he would come to college and all the master students and MBA students will get together and he will give a talk. He would come and say, okay, what should I talk on? So the Vice Chancellor will introduce him and say, Swami, speak on costing, marketing, administration, and he would talk on that. He has literally taught every aspect of management. And we did research on that. In fact, every work today which I do is from man management of Swami. Amazing. As a teacher, brilliant. And that is the time when he would show you different gimmicks of life. And he'll tell you, under everything is Atman and your power. Can you imagine he told us, teaching about sales, and then he told, when you start teaching and when you're coaching, throw in Atma. He says, Swami, how can you teach Atma while talking about sales? Can you imagine that? You are trying to do sales, and imagine the ruthless sales we are in, and he expects us to talk about Atman. And that time we used to all laugh. He says, Swami, crazy it is. How can you even think of that? How can I talk about Atman while talking about administration, costing, But today we do the same thing. Today, literally, the whole philosophies of management is based on the one principle of self. It's so unique. But when he taught us, we used to laugh at it. That's what Swami is doing. Can you imagine Swami as a teacher coming to the classrooms, sitting down, watching you teach, watching you listen, learn. And then very lovingly he'll tell, I am only 8th class pass. And then he'll say, if you want me to share something, I will. How sweet of our Lord to say that and come. But that was our master. Anyway, I think my time is coming to close. If you have any question or any thoughts, feel free. Pardon me? There was a humor once, that much only I know. Some boys were giving a talk, and the topic was exactly that, war and World War and all that. So Swami had made a statement that Third World War will not happen because I am here. Okay? He said, why have I come? I will see to it. So boys had started making a story around it, that suppose somebody throws an atom bomb, it will turn into a flower war, So we used to create some kind of funny line, and then Swami said that same thing. He said, it's a consciousness problem. We are not fighting a war of, land, and these are all land, wealth, all this is an external. The real fight is of consciousness. The human consciousness needs to be elevated. Unfortunately, because of our own actions and deeds, we have declined our consciousness to a great extent. And because of that, the greed, selfishness, self-centeredness, all that has risen. So all the problems which we see around the world is based on that. It's a greed issue, selfishness, me, mine. It's never ours, we. So that is the real problem. And that is why he said education and transformation is the only reason. And the tool for that he gave you, engage God in everything. God has to be brought in. Unfortunately, today education, they say God out. And we have brought in value, so now they're talking about value in, God out. That also is wrong. And Baba has very clearly and categorically said, you cannot teach values without God. Without God, value is an eyewash. You cannot sustain it. So God has to be brought into the life. If you cannot teach anything to the child, that is fine as long as you have brought God to the child. Because then the child will learn everything. But if you teach him everything except God, then whatever he has learned will be a waste. So World War, even though Bhagavan has physically left, I pray and hope it doesn't come. But I don't know how he's going to manage it. The world is really in a mess. But I just, that is his will. When I look at, you're right, sir, I travel quite a bit. When I look at the world, on one hand I say there's no hope. But then I think of Swami and his words, I say, yeah, there is still hope. How he'll do it, he only knows. He will work it out. Really, we can't, logically you can't, because the way the mess is around the world, logics will fail. But he told us one day, he said, golden age is right there. You be ready, and you'll be surprised how soon it will overpower you. It is not a matter of quantity, it's a quality. Nothing changes in life, trust me. We were talking one day in a very humorous way. When Ram left, era declined. From Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Treta came. From the Golden Age, Iron Age came. So it was a decline. Correct? When Krishna left, we further declined to Stone Age, to Kali Yuga. So each time the avatar leaves, we are going down. So is the avatar failing or gaining? I don't know that. Do you see the logic? It's very disturbing sometimes. If you look at it from external view, avatar spends the whole life and then there's a decline of eon. Boom. From Treta to the Dwapar to Treta, Treta to Kali is going down. So what is the guarantee that after Sai Baba leaves, or 3 avatars of his leave, we won't have further decline? But probably because the cycle will continue and we have to come back to Satyug, so there's a hope. By default, we'll come back to the Golden Age again. But what is actually happening? And in my little understanding, what I have gained from this is that it's a two-way process. There's a physical decline, but there is a consciousness rise. So in each level when avatar comes, he raises the consciousness of the mankind. And externally it looks decline, but consciously we are higher. Today's children are very aware children. Look at these children today. Thanks, they are not learning from their parents. Otherwise we would have chaos. So I am in education now for 15 years. I have been seeing these small kids and I'm so feeling blessed that they don't learn from their parents. They question their parents because parents are messed up. The whole generation has got no clue what to do with parenting. I call them in my category of, we decide them as default parents. Hormones kicked in and you became mother, father. You have no idea what it is. Somebody called you daddy, oh, I have become a dad now. But no idea about what are the consequences of that responsibility. But these children are born with that consciousness. They are so aware of surroundings. They are correcting us. They question the parents. So you can see that it is a very different cycle. When I look at these children, I say, yeah, Swami is working somewhere. Because these children are responding crazy. And a little love from our side, they blossom like crazy. Every child has a potential and they blossom just by showing them little love. Adults, God save us. There's something uniquely gone wrong with the generations. I don't know what it is. But it is funny. We are stuck with our own understanding. The children are amazing. So I have a hope. I'm just looking at it from that perspective. But when of course, keeping Bhagwan in the mind, I'm very much positive. I'm very much positive that nothing will go wrong. Nothing will go wrong. Even we have seen examples in the war in Russia, Iran. There are places where they had bombarded and devotee's house with an altar intact. Rest whole building fell down. Crazy things, right? They are bombarding and the devotee's house and the altar is safe. Rest everything gone. So they gave shelter to the other neighbors. Come, stay here. So they said, how come your house is not touched? He said, because this curly hair fellow is there inside. He will take care of all of us. So how he'll play, I don't know, but it is worth watching. Let us not get engaged mentally, but let's enjoy it. I think it is a beautiful blessing. Just to be with Sai consciousness is a blessing. Because you can be in the mud and still be away from it. His greatest teaching, one of the beautiful teaching is that, be like a lotus, which grows in the slush and mud, but untouched by a drop of water. He says, I want you all to live like that in the society. We cannot create a world which is perfect. That's our foolishness, if you think like that. Because the world is perfect. If there was no mud, lotus would not survive. So you need the slush for lotus to blossom. If there are no thorns, rose will not look beautiful. So calling the slush and mud and thorn as negative is our foolishness. Without darkness, light has got no value. So how can you say darkness is bad? So there is nothing imperfect in life. Like the other day I was telling, we all are perfect. He's perfectly bald. I'm perfectly having family pack. He's perfectly fat. Big deal. We are made like that. God wanted us to look like this, man. If you laugh looking at me, be my guest. Because this is what he wanted. A perfect joker in front of you. Why not? Imagine if everybody looked the same. What is the fun? How boring it will be. So he has a perfect face. He's a perfect tabla player. Even though he plays horrible, we like him. But he plays beautifully. But see, we all are perfect because we have been made by God. If you complain about yourself and start doing exercise extra and dieting, that means you are denying God. Come on. So eat properly, enjoy yourself. Don't kill yourself. Be healthy. But imagine, there is no struggle in life. Just live moderate, beautiful, enjoy, because that is how God wanted you to be. He wants us to be like that, crazy. Right, sir? Just smile and be happy. There's no reason for anything else. Because that's how He wanted me. He created me like this. People look at me and say, you always smile, man. I said, when I die, people will still say, the idiot is still smiling. He is still alive. So be it. Why not? When you look at me, at least you will smile. So tomorrow morning when you wake up, think of me. So anytime you are sad and depressed, think of me. I'm giving you secret of happiness. See, you will always be happy now. You know, I'm talking like Anil Kumar, somebody said, Mr. Anil Kumar, no, he was traveling. So some people came from, I think, Singapore or somewhere, they landed. And they told, Swami, Professor Anil Kumar had come. He inspired all of us, Swami. He was amazing. Swami kept listening to him for a few minutes, then he said, see the fate, Papa. I have been speaking for 60 years. Nothing happened to you. He went and spoke to you once and you got transformed. He said, take him. So look at the fate of our life. Avatar says, think of me and you'll be happy. Nah. I am telling you, think of me and you'll be happy. Because we didn't accept him. Otherwise, there's no point. The day you become Sai's, the way you declare yourself in your heart that I belong to Sai, you give up certain things. And you gain some things. You know what you give up? Any guesses? You give up your right to be sad. You give up your version of being depressed. You have no right to be depressed and sad now. That doesn't go with Sai. And you are forced to smile always. Don't grin. They'll put you in different house then. Imagine, hey, how are you? Something has gone wrong. But smile. Once we are Sai's, we have no other option but to be happy. Always happy. Under every circumstance, smile at it. Because there is nothing more important in life than our smile. Because this is what represents Him. We don't smile for ourselves. We smile as a reflection of His love. So we have no other business to be sad, to be depressed, to be annoyed, to be complaining. Our only job is to be happy. Isn't it beautiful, sir? Just be happy. That's all it is. Keep smiling. Don't think too much. Just be happy. He's really gone into contemplation. Enjoy. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
For somebody who actually have no idea who Swami is, and he asks you, who is he?
He's my master. He's my master. He's my everything. Doesn't matter. He's my master.
He's your master, but who is he?
He's my master whom I treat as God. He's my master who is my God, my Guru, And whatever I am is all because of His grace and teaching. I know she was testing me for others. Yeah, this question many people ask and they get confused and start defining Swami. No need. He's my master, my guru. Yes, sir.
This is not a question, this is just an experience that I had with Swami.
Sure.
I was very blessed that I had an interview, and there was a young man from either Argentina or one of those Spanish-speaking countries. And we're in the interview room with Swami, and Swami says he wants a ring. And as you were saying that Swami does this a lot, but in this particular instance, nothing happened. He just went and there was a ring there in his fingers. And he says, this is the, no, he doesn't want this ring, he says. He wants a different ring. And Swami just goes, because it had a stone in it. But I think this young man wanted it with the cross, being a Christian. He wanted a cross in the ring. And Swami says he wants a different ring. He just blew on it, and it changed from the stone with the cross, and he handed it to him. Now that was just an experience that I was right there watching Swami do this, and it was just a beautiful experience. It was absolutely fantastic. And another experience that I had, you know, the 21 alms you were talking about. I was in Puttapati and he blessed me. I merged with the Om. I became part of the Om. I was with the Om, and I couldn't believe it. I was just part of the Om. So it was just, he hasn't let me.
In a music group, some boys, our singer, Bhimsen Joshi Sahab. I don't know, most of you might not have heard him. He's a classical singer, very famous for his heavy husky voice. Amazing. One day, when there are big functions, all the musicians were queued up to sing. And he was given like 5 minutes to sing. And our Sivadals can be wonderfully rude sometimes, because they keep testing our patience and devotion. So he went on the stage and he was singing Rag Deepak, it seems. Rag Deepak is a raga or music notation for lamp, lighting, light. So it seems Tansen and Beju Bawra used to sing that, old singers, and they could light a lamp just by singing. They could invoke fire. So he was singing that. And suddenly the Sevadal people came and said, enough, time up. So poor fellow could not even rise, and he had to close it because they pulled him. And he came back in the green room and he started crying, because for them, it is not just a singing, it is an offering. And he chose that rag, and he could not even complete that rag. So he felt, I have done an kind of an insult to the raga. So he was very sad, and he was crying profusely. It seems at that moment, Swami came from outside. Swami was sitting and watching program. He came in and came into green room. And he said, Bhim, why are you crying? He used to call him Bhim. Bhim is like, so his name is Bhimsen Joshi. He said, Bhim, why are you crying? And he fell at his feet and he said, sorry, Swami, I have insulted the raga. I'm so sorry. Swami said, no, you did not insult. He said, Swami, but I was trying to sing this rag. He said, I know you're trying to sing, but that is not rag. He said, what? He said, we all have been singing that as a rag, And Swami said, no, that is not. That rag, then he quoted somebody, some 100 years back, he used to sing. He said, that was the last fellow who sang this raga properly. After that, you don't even know what you sang. Then he gave a new version of it. He said, you sang this rag, and that was okay. You did not sing Rag Deepak. So Bhimsen Joshiji got so shocked and he said, really, Swami? Then what it is? Then Swami sang that raga for him. And it seems the boys who were there, Sonam brother was there, so he told us this story. He says, when Swami started, the raga has a invocating sound which comes from stomach. It was so deep and solid that everybody stared at Swami like, my God, nobody expected the sound to come out. And then Swami sang that one scale for him, and he said, see, this is actual raga. So you did not do any mistake. So be happy. Don't cry, be happy. So for him, he came down to that level to tell him, otherwise he was carrying a guilt in his heart. So there are amazing things which he has done. Creation is a very small aspect of Bhagwan, honestly speaking. But yeah, he used to do funny things. He'll stop the rain, bring the rain. We have seen clouds. We have seen Swami walk in the rain, and the rain is all over him except his body. His robe is dry. And you can see the rain everywhere. And you could watch him, and there's nothing. And many times the droplets would just stop at his hair. You know, on top of the hairline, you could see the droplets. And nothing else. The whole body is dry. And then at the feet, of the tip of the robe, you will find the dewdrops, but no rain at all. He would walk like that. How many of you have seen somebody walk and no footprints on the sand? Isn't it beautiful? He'll just glide through. Many times we'll put our hand inside to catch his feet, and there are no feet, like, where is he? And he's gone. He was so swift. But many times, devotees would tell, boys, can you bring little sand for us? And we'll be waiting for Swami to walk. And he goes by, and there are no footprints at all. Sometimes the footprints will be so light, as if he has just touched the ground and gone. You try standing in the beach, you'll see what a beautiful he'll do. But he would just stand and walk by and nothing. He was floating. Isn't that beautiful? You know, every bit, I told you, every second of his was miraculous. But we were so caught up, Swami didn't look at me today. He didn't call me today. This darshan, man, he didn't look at me. Sometimes you wonder, but it is fun. Anyway, memories. Thank you so much. I think your time up. Tomorrow you have to still go for work. So I'm grateful. Yes, sir. As long as they allow, I have no problem. See, every avatar, when he comes, he announces. We don't give credential to that. If you look at Shirdi Sai, he was roughly around 16 to 18 when he made the appearance and announced his being. Similarly, Baba also came after 8 years of gap, and then 14 years old, he announced to the world. Till then, only the local community had a privilege to know there's something funny about this man. Nobody knew that he's an avatar or something like that. So it is very, very, I would say, stupid, foolish, and selfish on certain human beings to try to sabotage this concept of Premasai. There is no need to go through that route. You already have one form. Have you had enough of this Satyasai? Enjoy this form. He has gone nowhere. This form is enough. If you can you handle 2 Sai Babas? Oh no, one is enough. And when he chooses to come, boss, he will call you. The point is not of we searching for him. He has already given himself to us. And now it is a matter of keeping ourselves pure and ready for him. So whenever he wants, he will come to you. My humble request is, don't go into that route. Anybody who makes these foolish claims of knowing Premasai or identifying a child as a Premasai, either they have no clue what they're doing, or that evilness should be avoided. It's not good for ourselves. Why unnecessary? So my humble request is, keep away. Why do you need gratification? Bhagwan used to ask us one simple question. If you are driving a Mercedes Benz and your car stops at a red light and you see $1 on the road, will you jump out to pick it up? Will you jump out and say, $1? Will you jump? Walking with God is driving in a Bentley. Forget Benz. It's much higher than that. Why do you crave for these penny cents? Just dump it. I have my God. I don't need a second God. one Sai Baba is enough. Right? One Sai Baba is enough for whole life or lives to come. We are satisfied. Enjoy him. We still don't know him properly. Enjoy him. There is so much of joy. Avoid those gossips. They are very, very narrow and foolish. And plus, do not define or limit Swami to an activity. Whether it can be a greatest activity, it is still an activity. Bhagavan gave water to the whole state. It's not easy. In 70 years, Government of India could not do that. He did it in few years. He gave world-class hospitals. But that was not his purpose. He never intended anything out of it. So for us to think that we have to make hospitals and schools to justify Sai Baba is our narrow-mindedness and limitation. Just enjoy. Enough. Swami should be, just enjoy with Swami. Think of his glory, be happy, that's it. Am I right, ma'am? Just be happy. Dance and romance with the Lord. As Paramahansa Yogananda says, no? Romancing with the Lord. That's our destiny. Choose it and live by it. Thank you. Sai Ram.
Sairam. Arati will go. Before that, I will give a quick 1 minute my vote of thanks for beloved brother Abhi. Don't you all think we are so blessed today to be in this session? We got energized and we got the feeling that we are in Patti. How nice and how touching. So thank you, brother. Came all the way, and we actually, I don't know no word to say. Your inspiring talk really touches. And you taught us the Gayatri Mantra. I was thinking all these days, early morning, getting up and saying so wrong and go, or we prayed. So at least this is a very good opportunity. And I'm sure next time we will learn the dance as well. We will have a session. Thank you so much, brother. Thank you so much for, I take this opportunity and thank for Epping Center to give the venue. And Brother Social, thank you so much to give us the support to have this session today. And we are all blessed to get this session. Thank you, Sairam.
जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी सत्य साई हरे भक्त जनों समरक्षक भक्त जनों समरक्षक अति महेश्वरा ओम जय जगदीश हरे शशिवदना श्रीकरा सर्वा प्राणपते स्वामी सर्वा प्राणपते आश्रित कल्पलतिका आश्रित कल्पलतिका आपदान्धवा ओम जय जगदीश हरे मात पिता गुरुदेवं मरियं तयुनीवे स्वामी मरियं तयुनीवे नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथा नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथा नागेन्द्र शयना ओम जय जगदीश हरे ओंकार रूप हो जय शिव साई महादेवा सत्य साई महादेवा मंगल आरती मंगल आरती अंदु मंदर गिरिधारी ओम जय जगदीश हरे नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा शांति 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 जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की समस्त लोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त लोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त लोका सुखिनो भवन्तु शांति शांति शांति